done a survey and they discovered that two major things causes this divorce. And those two major things are finances. You want to guess the other one? Sex. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's another video with the husband. Thanks for being here, guys. If you are new here, thanks for tuning in, and if you're returning to this first, thanks for tuning in too. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support all the time. If you are new here, it is a fun place to be. So if you are new here, do well to hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell. If you are returning to Spurs, thanks again and again and again for always coming back and for your feedback. I appreciate you. Thank you. And yes, today I have my husband on the channel again. Welcome to the channel. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone. Good to see your face again. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. And if you are new, like she said, do go to subscribe and also press the notification button for you to always be notified or subsequent videos.
You need to be notified, guys. Thank you. Yeah, so the reason for this video is because I've actually shared on this channel my perspective about, you know, marriage, immigrants marriage, why immigrants marriages are breaking up and all that. And I just feel like I should bring a man's perspective into this whole thing, because yes, I've shared my own perspective. For the men too, there are also things going through their minds and all that, and it's not just when we are talking about marriages breaking and all that, it's not always the fault of the man, it's not always the fault of the woman too. But so I'm sure in the video I made, I didn't focus on whose fault it will be. I just, you know, said that it was a thing that when people relocate, divorce rate is high. Is high for when people come down here than it is back home. What is your take on that? Like, yeah, divorce is also rising back home too, but it's still not as high as it is here. So
okay, I will start from the angle of whose fault it is. I think for us to have a clearer understanding at this point, it may be counterproductive to be pointing accusing finger that it is the man's fault or it is the woman's fault. So the bottom line is way forward solution, how to resolve whatever difference, whatever challenge the home might be facing. And in with the present trend in this part of the world, that divorce rate is on the increase compared to where we're coming from, at least to some extent. There is some level of tolerance, there is some level of managing that goes on in various homes back home, but here the law supports it. The law gives it their full backing. If you're not satisfied for whatever reason, just file for divorce and the government will back you, whoever is at fault. And as much as the woman is saying, I'm tired, I'm fed up, I want out, the law of the land supports such instances. But we as children of God, the Bible clearly states, Jesus himself said that in the beginning it was not so. It was because of your stoning heart, your heart, that Moses actually made the statement he made. But Jesus himself, that you and I should mirror our Christian race after, he told us that in the beginning it was not so. So it means for every home that may be going through one challenge or the other should go back to the basis of their Christianity. If it were to be Jesus, either the man or the woman, will Jesus fight for divorce? Will Jesus not accommodate?
Okay, so yeah, I get where you're coming from, you know. Yeah, Pastor Josh's point of view. But yes, something I noticed, so one of the videos I made, one of the comments I got was that African women, when they get to Western world, they expect their men to change to Western lifestyle or something like that. That was like the comments kind like, yeah, I know for some people, and one of the things I mentioned in that video was that for some families, their break is not because they came here. It's because most times there were issues that they have not resolved from their country. But no, moving away from that, I think yeah, for some people it's because it's easier here to file for divorce than it is back home. But the question is, if there is something that the woman or the man, for example, because we are not saying that it is just the women that file for divorce. So if there's something that either party has been complaining about from back home, if there's an issue that has not been resolved, why is the other party too not trying to okay, so looking at the question I was talking about that somebody asked, that we expect the men to change when we relocate to Western countries.
Okay, maybe we should try and be simple enough. Change in what aspects?
Okay, change, like there are some things that most African homes don't ask of the husband. For example, in African homes, in most African homes, you rarely see the man being the one doing the dishes. You rarely see the man being the one that will take broom and sweep the floor. You rarely see the man being the one that would, change diapers, for example.
Okay, so if I understand what you're saying.
Before you respond, and this may be something that the woman is not asking for because maybe she had help, and here she doesn't have help, and she's asking you to change from that. You are not used to things to help or something like that. So the question is why? Because we are expected to change too, right? From having helps to not having helps and still functioning. So why is it difficult for the men to change? No, so now it begins to look like I'm doing a men versus women, but I'm just trying to bring up an example. And even also in the aspect of finances, for some families it is the men that does most of the provisioning, providing, and people get here and still expect that the men should still be the one providing everything. So it's there's an example for each one. So I'm wondering why either party is not ready to change. And then
okay, I think to some extent, if I understand the question, let me start by there's this saying or a proverb that if you're in Rome, you behave like a Roman. The instances you make, doing dishes, making meals, changing diaper, taking care of the home, either from the husband or from the wife, all of these they're so little, they're so insignificant to cause quarrel, to lead to bottling up offenses. It will be a responsible man also who will be taking care of his family with the support, with the help of his wife. It is not a one-man show. Like the Bible said, male and female, he created them. The Bible also says in Genesis, and the two shall now become one. So if the two parties coming from different upbringing, different background, see themselves as one, the husband will not sit down, expect the wife to do everything in the house, do the dish, make the meal, look after the children. That is why some women often get older than their age. And it will be also bad for a woman who is to some extent financially capable, denying her husband the financial help she should render.
Okay, so I'll pick this from you mentioned that presentation matters when it comes to
both parties.
But there are some things that we expect that I don't even need to ask you before you do them.
That's it. Okay, maybe in a previous video I made mention of we are different. Like for myself, I don't like seeing dirty plates often. I can eat now and wash the plates immediately. If that is working for me, it may not be working for others. So what is actually working for me might not work for others, in the sense that my wife is busy doing one or two things. Seeing her engage in one activity or the other will prompt me to offer an assistance
without being asked,
without
right?
being asked. But some men, well, it depends on upbringing, but some wife will have to call for the help. It is not out of place. Hey babe, I need your help. It is not out of place for both parties to ask for help when needed if it is not forthcoming.
Are you hearing? And I think I've mentioned it on this channel before. Like, if you need to ask for help, don't say, hey, you should see that I don't need to ask him, you should see it. Or I don't need to ask her, she should know. If you need to ask your spouse for help, go ahead and ask them for help. Because like you said, we are different. Some people may see it and, offer their help without you being asking them.
Yeah.
Some people need you to ask them, and when you ask them, they actually, go ahead and help. So in case you need your spouse to help you with something, go ahead and ask. Don't die in silence and say, no, you should see me. She should understand that I need help without asking, So that settles that. So something I also heard about, immigrant marriages and all that is that there are two major things that causes this. They've done a survey and they discovered that two major things causes this divorce. And those two major things are finances. You want to get the other one?
Sex.
So two major things I've heard cause these issues and if we decide to look for that, I think these two reasons too will be the reason for even the people divorcing back home. I think it has to be like a general reason for issues in marriages and all that. So what do you have to say about finances and sex causing issues in marriages?
Okay, I will take you back to where we started. Money matters in family should between husband and wife should not be a source of division. I'll come back to sex later. Money should be something God has provided for the use of the home. In Nigeria, where we stayed before we moved to our own building, it is a yearly payment. To some extent, that is a relief, but here it is monthly. All your bills are majorly monthly bills. It will not be good for either party not to support each other. I don't want to believe there is an except. There is no reason why either the wife or the husband should not support each other financially, because whatever the husband earns comes home, whatever the wife earns comes home. So if the two of them have come to the level of we are sons and daughters of the Most High, and the Holy Scripture is the basis for this union, money matters should not be a source of division.
Yeah, but sorry, I'll cut in there before you go on to the other matter. So for some people, I think that because we hear a lot of things, right? And we just even finished marriage matters in the church and all that. We hear a lot of things, and for some people, it is the reason they are deciding not to help or not to bring out their own part of finances is because of some things they've seen in their husbands. For example, I've heard stories, different kinds of stories of this man that would always want his wife to give all her income, and if it doesn't, even if she needs something, if it doesn't agree to it, maybe she needs clothes for work and all that, if it doesn't agree, she cannot buy clothes for herself.
I think
she cannot do things. No, it's okay, she cannot do things.
In such instance, that would be on the extreme. We all have our rights, but biblically, the word of God supersedes our rights. If a woman has earned her wages, and for instance, maybe they are operating a joint account, and she has earned her wages, brought it to the family, there is nothing wrong for the woman to replenish her wardrobe. So it will be out of place for such a man to be denying the spouse the right of getting dresses, clothing, materials for ourselves, it will be totally out of place.
So I think this is us assuming that all the people that watch this video will be people that are, guided by biblical principles. So let's assume that there are some people that, well, it is their instinct, it is, biblical.
Okay, if we are taking it out of the scripture, morally speaking, we all have conscience. Even those that their conscience, if that we say their conscience are dead, something will say tell them that you have done wrong with what you just did. There is no right thinking person that you will get the support of your spouse, and yet you will still be denying your spouse of making use some percentage of that support. It will not be fine. So morally speaking too, it is wrong. Bible apart now, morally speaking, physically saying, it is not right for a spouse to deny the other partner their rights.
So what if this person is denying their spouse their rights? What do you think?
Well, I will advise, like the Bible mentioned, God hates divorce. I will advise, if they are both Christians, the other party there should be some areas where he or she could be able to sit down and talk to either the wife or the husband, have a communication. I need these things.
At the end of the day, we are still back to biblical principles.
Yeah.
So yes, this is us telling you that one way to have, even when you have issues, one way to have your marriage back on track is to live by biblical principles.
And let us also remember, the Bible has said, don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Marry someone of your faith. That will help you a long way. Because if your faiths are different, it may be difficult for you to align on so many issues. Because A will be going to his or her God, B will be going to his or her God. But if you are from the same faith, both of you will be able to go to the same source to iron out your issue.
So do you want to talk about the other part? Because I have another question,
Okay, yeah. The second part, which is sex, yes, this is causing some divorce, which should not be.
So as you answer that, you can, also touch briefly about what goes through a man's mind when a woman says, I'm tired, and I'm tired is the first night I'm tired, second night I'm tired is running to weeks and months.
Okay, sex in marriage, I may not be able to focus either male or female, but sex in marriage, like as God has created, it is to be enjoyed. It is not to be denied. Sex in marriage, both parties should come to term. They should come to an agreement. I think I watched a Mount Zion film about busy but guilty. Either male or female. Today you are on the mountain. Tomorrow you are doing 3 days dry fasting. After that, another 7 days white fasting. After that, 21 days on the mountain. The other party will suffer for it. And if the other party make a mistake, you have a part to be blamed for on the mistake of the other party. Because if, with my own understanding, if either the wife or the husband will go on self denial, either fasting and prayer, either dry or white, or breaking daily, the other party must consent to it. I cannot say today I want to go on a 50 days dry fast and nobody will stop me. What's in between? If my spouse or the other partner wants attention or wants affection, what will happen? So as husband and wife, our emotions must be communicated to each other. We must not deny ourselves. If it is not important. God won't have put the aspect of sexual intimacy in marriage, but God in his majesty has put it there, and it is what must be enjoyed between both parties. So to homes or families that may be going through challenges in this area, I would just say both parties should come to term.
How?
Okay, is if it's the husband that has been saying that has been denying, or the wife that has been denying. Okay, let me pick it from the aspect of the wife is tired, day one, day two, week one. It will get to a time that the man, okay, let me pick it from what goes through the mind of a man. The man will feel, okay, from day one, the man might understand. Day two, the man may understand. Day three, the man may still understand. But if it keeps repeating itself, the man would definitely be frustrated.
What do you think is the place of community in ensuring that marriages stay together? And I'm asking this question from the perspective of, I heard the story of a couple here in Saskatoon, and I heard all the challenges. Like, I heard all the, actually I would say I was gossiping. It was a gossip because I didn't really know this family, but I was hearing, you know, what was happening in their homes and all that. That is why sometimes we should be careful who we share our stories with, because we don't know where they will table the conversation, right? So I was, you know, they were just, you know, talking about this family and the challenges they were facing. And one thing I asked was, why is I suggested to the person, because that person seemed to be like close to the wife, the person that was telling me, I suggested to her to suggest to her to the wife to go to a pastor. And then the person said, these people are not into religion and all that. And then I didn't know what to say again, because I didn't know whether, I don't know right now, I don't know how to access help when it comes to, you know, like you said earlier, it's easier to get a divorce than it is to, you know, get counseling to stay back and all that. Maybe that's maybe that is how far we've seen. We don't know whether it's also easier to get counseling and all that. I didn't know what to say anymore, because I felt like that was like the first step for them to get help, even if they will be able to get further help, but at least what they were not into. So what do you think is the place of religion, community, like having people that you could talk to, that could step into matters? And I think we had a lot of that, like in African homes, there were a lot of that, you know, maybe parents, it was easy to get in touch with your pastor, your maybe imam or something for Muslims and all that.
Okay, well, from where we're coming from, the effect of community might be to some extent go a long way. There is always, at least with my experience and with my upbringing, there is always like a father figure in the community, every community oftentimes. But in this Western world, it's not the same at all. Like the example you give, the person is not the family having issue, they are not churchy person.
They are not anything people. They don't go to
okay, they are not they are maybe neutral people. So with such, how will they get help? And with the saying that a problem shared is half solved, the person that the wife told or the husband told is not in the right position to help them, because if such a person as a friend will help, the person might likely take side either to the wife or to the husband. But to where we are coming from, to some extent, they are always neutral. The advantage is always there. At least every house will have a representation in the community meetings. That is where they know each other. But yeah, I pray the Lord will help us. Basis is for husband and wife to always stick together, to always fight their battles together. And if they're both fighting their battles together, it will minimize the risk or the edge of having a misunderstanding that may lead to divorce.
Yeah, so I still think that even here you can still build a community. Like for example, that
like minds,
those people that like the example I gave, the family that was having issues, if they had a church or a mosque or something,
or somewhere they belong
to, you could get help by talking to somebody that have sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I still think there's a role that the community plays. Even here, you can be a part. It doesn't help in any way.
It can start with you.
Yeah, it doesn't help in any way to be isolated, not to be involved in any community. So whether it is church or whether
and that is also where the challenge will be. We want to stay alone. We don't want to associate with anybody. But when the challenge comes, you want people to come around and help you. Somebody you've not been associating with, somebody you see from afar or even close by that you don't greet. Is it the same person you go and meet that you need a help?
That's true. Yeah, guys, I think we have come to the end of this video. Spouses should learn to communicate. They should learn to communicate their expectations and needs, and we should also be ready to accommodate and tolerate each other. Like, yeah, we should be ready to tolerate. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do you have any parting word?
My parting word will be to both parties. If there is any challenge you're going through, just have an open mind. Discuss it with your spouse. Don't come from the angle of he offended me, she offended me, or is the one that is wrong, I'm the one that is right. No. Sit down, talk open-mindedly. Don't be on the defensive. Be open and let's go. If you have been offended, there is no way offense will not come. Even as perfect as Jesus was, he was offended, but he never allowed that offense to get in his way.
There will be offenses, and I think sometimes that is what we sometimes don't remember when we are offended. Like, we are human beings, there will be offenses, but when they come, we should learn to talk it out and let it go. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, hit the like button, leave your thoughts about this video in the comment section, and yes, please click the share button. Share to as many people as you can. Thanks for watching. Until we see you in the next video, have a beautiful life, guys. Bye.
Enjoy yourself. Thank you so much.
Bye.